Hi, I'm Ashley from the Loopy Lamb and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my tips and tricks for working with faux fur yarn. When I released my pattern for the amigurumi project, Kaya Koala, I heard the same questions over and over again. Is it hard to work with this yarn? How do you count your stitches? Can you even see your stitches? So I decided to create this video so I can help take the fear out of working with faux fur yarn and give you my best tips and tricks for working with this kind of project. My first tip is to feel the stitches. I recommend working with a yarn that has a thick strip on the back, like Fable Fur Yarn from WeCrochet.com. This is my favorite fur yarn, and it has a very thick strap on the back, and it enables you to easily feel the stitches. So even though you can't actually see your stitches to count them, you can just run your fingers along the stitches and count them much more easily. My next tip is to use a bigger hook. So if you can't feel your stitches, maybe your tension's a little too tight or maybe your hook is too small, try using a hook size bigger or loosening up your tension just to see if that helps you feel the stitches better, because trust me, once you can feel the stitches, it's smooth sailing. My next tip is to use a stitch marker. Now I primarily use faux fur yarns for amigurumi projects, but I would say that you should use a stitch marker for any time you're working with this yarn. Because you can't see the stitches, the stitch marker will help you find your first stitch or any important stitches that the pattern might want you to keep track of. So my next tip is take your time. This fur yarn is incredibly forgiving, but you still want your project to look amazing at the end. So take your time, be confident in where your stitches are, and place your hook appropriately. My next tip is to count your stitches as you crochet. Since you can't rely on seeing your stitches, count your stitches as you're crocheting so that way you don't have to go back and feel each stitch to make sure that your stitch count is right. This actually will help speed up the process because going back and counting your stitches by feel can be a little slow. My next tip is don't pull too hard on the yarn. With all that fur, you're going to encounter some tension when you're trying to frog, or you might encounter a tangle. So take your time when you're trying to remove the tangle. If you pull too hard, the yarn will snap and you'll get frustrated. My next tip is don't crochet over your tail when you're making a magic circle. So if you're using a magic circle or an adjustable ring, I typically crochet over the tail so that way I don't have to weave it in later. However, every time I've tried to do this with a faux fur yarn, it tends to get stuck, it doesn't glide well, and the yarn snaps. So what I do is I create my magic circle, push the tail to the back of my work, and I only crochet around the ring part of the magic circle. My next tip is show the wrong side. In crochet, there's typically a traditional right side and wrong side. But with this yarn, the traditional wrong side actually typically looks better, especially for my amigurumi projects. So show that wrong side, turn it inside out, and choose the fluffiest, furriest part of your project to be the outward facing part. So those are my tips and tricks for working with faux fur yarn. I hope that you found them helpful and that they give you the confidence to use faux fur yarn for your next crochet project. If you have any questions or tips of your own for working with this kind of yarn, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked this video, please hit the like button below, and please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like free crochet patterns, please check out my website, theloopylamb.com. Thanks for watching, happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.